Hi, it's Edie here. I help stressed out people own their lives through developing powerful self care strategies, also known as habits. Now, I'm coming to you from the home office in San Antonio, Texas. Talk about the five gremlins. I love the gremlins. They're a personification of different aspects of who we are and how it is to reshape our lives by paying attention to all these different aspects. I'll remind you, we have Echo, who is our self-concept, and Echo is named Echo because what we get back is often what we're putting out. And so we need to pay attention to what we get back from other people to check and see if who we want to be is who we're truly being. Our next gremlin is Mojo, who represents our physical well-being, our what we use for fuel, what we use for motion, how we sleep, and how well we hydrate. Our next gremlin is Pointer. Pointer is our attitude. Who's taking responsibility? Who are we giving responsibility for what's going on in our lives? Who gets that responsibility? Because if we don't take responsibility for ourselves, if we're blaming other people or other circumstances, then we give away our power to make a change because we can't change other people. So we have to pay attention to what we're thinking about, what's going on in our lives. Sparky is the temperature of our relationships. So Sparky, we want Sparky to be nice and warm and gracious and kind. And sometimes Sparky gets overheated and flames out. Or sometimes Sparky gets very, very cold and freezes people out. So we want our Sparky to be somewhere in the middle. And our last one, our final one that we talk about is Buddy. And Buddy is who I want to talk about today. Buddy's our connection to love, our spiritual connection. This work that I do has risen from my journey with compassion fatigue. Now, compassion fatigue is very much like PTSD. It shares the same symptom clusters, but we think that compassion fatigue is from dealing with other people's pain, where we identify post-traumatic stress disorder as coming from stress, from a trauma that has happened directly to us. And so as hard as it is to hear someone's distress, as I did in 911, it's a different thing than when it's your own distress. So compassion fatigue rises from caring about other people and being powerless to change their lives. And doing the best you can, and sometimes our best isn't good enough. And so what happened to me in compassion fatigue and in the downward spiral I experienced was that I developed a hole in my heart. I came up in the church, I came up with a strong faith tradition. I believed that I had a powerful faith. But in dealing with society, with the horror of what people put each other through, with the horror of things that happen unbidden to people. You know, not every tragic thing is somebody's fault. Sometimes tragedy is just tragedy. And so dealing with all that led me to become very cynical and very disconnected from my ability to love and disconnected from my ability to receive love. And so it was a very dark time in my life. It was difficult to continue going on. I developed a pretty black sense of humor, and I could be pretty sharp and actually pretty awful to people. And I don't look back on that with pride. I look back on it with compassion, because I didn't know how off-center I was. And the intervening years, I've developed this process that helped me get back on center And not only does it help me get back on center, it helps me stay on center. And when I fail to keep up my practices and I get off center again, it helps me to recognize what I have done, and I own it for myself. And I'm the one who can do something different. And so that spiritual connection for me was foundational. It was really, really important to be well-centered spiritually, to be able to learn how to take care of myself physically, and to learn how to monitor what's going on in my own head and monitor how my relationships are with others. And all that is rooted for me in that spiritual connection. So I believe that buddy's really, really, really important. A lot of times people don't seem to recognize that that might be a place where they can start their journey to loving their lives again. But I think it is. I think it's a good place to start. I think that connection to love, which allows us to learn to love ourselves, can give us permission to love ourselves enough to do the work we need to do, to get healthy, to get stronger in our mind, to take responsibility for our own well-being and our relationships' well-being and our family dynamics and our work dynamics. So I think that Buddy's really, really important, and I want to invite you to enjoy Buddy and to really recognize Buddy's importance in our life. We are whole people. We are body, mind, spirit. We are not just a body, we're not just a mind, and we're certainly not just a spirit. It all works together. You cannot make one part better without making the rest of it better. So I think that Buddy's a really powerful place to start, but it might not be, he might not be, or she might not be the best place for you to start. That's for you to determine. It's important for me. I don't know if it's important for you. I am thrilled to help people. I do individual coaching. I also work with groups. And so whatever you need, I can help you. And I would love to invite you to contact me and see what we can do together, because you are worth the effort. You've got to take care of yourself. You're the only one like you we got. Thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.